Revelation 1948. From the 12th of June 1941. Many are called, few are chosen. Workers in the vineyard. Many people are certainly called to serve God, yet only a few people comply with God's call, and these few are therefore the chosen ones to whom God gives a task which is tremendously important and who are therefore showered with divine grace. For they consciously give themselves to God and are therefore easily guided by Him because they do not oppose His divine guidance. For they believe in God and are eager to fulfill His will. But God's will is to proclaim the truths of faith to people. God's will is that a link to receive His word should agree to build the bridge from earth to the beyond, and as such He would accept every person who, out of love for his fellow human beings, would like to offer himself to Him. For He needs many laborers for His vineyard. But the human being's will usually strives towards the divine will, and thus only a few will declare themselves willing to work for Him. Thus only a few are chosen, that is only a few receive God's grace so obviously that it is recognized as grace. And thus it can be explained why the human being has no real idea which forces are active in the creation of these scriptures, thus expressing themselves in such a way that the result can be visible to all people. Whatever God gives and in which form it will always remain incomprehensible to people as long as they don't fulfill such a task, which is a conscious service in love, but which can never be expected from a person in the midst of earthly life. Even if God calls him to spiritual activity, he will not hear the call. And if he hears it he will not want to give up the earthly world and thus will not be able to comply with the call. Only the one who surrenders everything will be chosen to work for the Lord, for he has to listen within and can only do so when nothing ties him to the earthly world anymore, when he fully surrenders his will and submits himself to God for constant guidance. He is now constantly looked after by the beings who take care of him on God's behalf, and his unrestrained devotion to God now earns him a gift of grace of inconceivable value. He will be instructed without interruption, a light will be given to him so that it shall shine far and wide. Thus he has now become a mediator between God and people who, in their blindness and obduracy, are no longer able to hear God's voice within themselves and who nevertheless need active help, whose soul also sighs for redemption. A single person who offers himself to God for service can have an immensely beneficial effect on humanity, for whom the Lord chooses He also provides with His grace and strength in a great measure, so that he may become an efficient laborer in the vineyard, so that he may provide help in love where it is needed. Amen.